she would never get the moral to the story. Yet I noticed other kids her age got it in a second. Later, I understood that people that don't put together morals are a sociopath, and that concerned me.
Well, Marilyn says she's been begging for help from therapists, doctors, social workers, and would like for me to weigh in on it at this point, because she says her 31-year-old daughter, Annika, is mentally ill and is in denial about her problems. Annika says her mother wants her to be sick so her mother can get all the attention. Take a look.
The only problem I have is a controlling mother, and she can't mind her own business.
This is a journal. It details where Annika has been, what a counselor has told me, or someone else that she's been in contact with.
Growing up, when my dad didn't get his way, he'd scream at my mother that she wasn't good enough. And then my mother took her anger out on me. She'd get drunk and she'd throw things at me, her cups, beer, the glass. When I was a teenager, my mom got scared she'd lose control over me. My mother started being very controlling about food. When I would get hungry, she wouldn't allow me in the kitchen. I eventually started hiding food, and then I developed anorexia and bulimia. In high school, she'd spend the day screaming at me for not following her rules. She'd want me to go to bed early, but sometimes I had homework. She didn't care. In my mom's mind, breaking rules meant I needed to go to therapy. When I left and I went to college, I didn't stay in contact with my mom very much. So my mom would try to contact my teachers and my friends and anyone she could, trying to find out where I was at all times. I can take care of myself, but my mom doesn't like that. My mom thinks that there's something wrong with me today because she wants to have control over my life. There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay, Annika, it's good to meet you. You've been listening so far, right?
Yes. I am very enraged. She's been a very terrible mother, and she hasn't been there for me at all. I have had rough experiences. I have lived in, places that she disagrees with, but when I call her, she's the last person that will come and help me. This is the first time that she's ever actually appeared for me to consider communicating, having any kind of open communication to work anything out.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Have you been attacked and beaten and raped on numerous occasions?
No. I have before, but not on numerous occasions.
Have you been raped before?
I have. I was raped. It was pretty bad. I found out I was pregnant, and I contacted my mother, and that's what I get for being stupid and being homeless and not having my family.
Well, I don't want to just gloss over that. I'm very sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
Has that happened to you more than once?
It's happened twice.
When it happened, did you get help with that?
I got medical treatment. I had immediately wanted to make sure that I was okay, and my mother refused to allow me to get any kind of treatment, and she dropped me off at a rehab. That was I hadn't been using drugs, and I told her what happened, and she bribed me with a pile of clothes that she wanted to bring to me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me for interrupting, but, Annika has told me in the last dozen years many times that she's been raped, robbed, and beaten.
You said, excuse you for interrupting. I don't think I will. I want to talk to her. She did say that she had been raped more than once. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem materially inconsistent to me with what you're saying, but if you want to talk to her, you don't need me here for that. I would... Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, like in your phlebotomy class that you were taking, for instance, they kicked you out because they said that other students were scared of you, and you told me that the teacher was jealous of you and she conspired to get you out of the class because the kids were looking up to you.
My life doesn't consist of a bunch of negative things that continue to happen to me. She seems to make it seem that way.
Annika would not follow the rules at home. We had very basic rules. The more she wouldn't follow the rules, the more I just made them into black and white. So it was very simple, like no food downstairs, no kitchen after a certain hour. I would find rotten food in her room all the time.
I wasn't allowed to eat in her house, so I would eat after hours.
Food was a huge problem.
Literally, she has a line in her house, and she has like this piece of silver thing, and there's a wooden floor, and if I go across that line, then I would get in huge trouble.
She'd run away. I mean, when she played at Carnegie Hall the night after the concert, she disappeared. I didn't know if she ran into the streets in New York or where. It's like she didn't have any common sense.
Go ahead.